Hey guys, it's 11:30 a.m. on October 10th, 2017, and I just wanted to go over some basic facts with you guys about fires. The average house fire burns at a temperature of about 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't hot enough to destroy most metals and earthly made substances. And if an item is well placed and small in size, its chances of survival increase drastically. Let's take a look at the burning point of a couple of materials. Glass burns at around 2600 to 2900 degrees Fahrenheit, which is more than double the regular temperature of house fires or forest fires. Let's see what we can find out about aluminum. Aluminum melts at around 1220 degrees. Some alloys burn a little bit hotter, around 1900 degrees. Now let's take a look at what the National Institute of Fire Safety and Safety Training say what will not generally burn in a house fire. Jewelry, because it's metal. Silver coins, because they're metal. Filing cabinets. Steel filing cabinets are built to last so that businesses won't have to deal with the loss of important files after building fires. Many people keep personal documents in filing cabinets, which are often kept in home offices. And it says here that silver burns around 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's go down to barbecue grills, cookware, some appliances, stone table, fire safes. Let's see, it says here about tools. Because the melting point of carbon steel is between 2600 and 28 degrees Fahrenheit. And the melting point of stainless steel is roughly 2700 degrees. So you're not going to see your barbecues melt. You're not going to see your ovens and your most of your appliances. They're not going to melt. They'll be burned, they'll be damaged, but they're not going to melt. It's common to find an appliance or two that remains intact. There's chaos around there, but many appliances these days are made with stainless steel, which gives them a sleek and design durability. So a lot of people have these things, but the metal, the frame itself of these things is not going to melt. So let's take a peek at what happened here. Well, let me just show you some pictures here of normal house fires. What's usually left afterwards. There's a bunch of rubble and everything's black. Usually the frames of the buildings stand. And there's a bunch of crap around the trees or around the place, buildings. The frame of the building stays intact. The entire building does not disappear. There's still debris. There's a huge debris field after these things. You see there's like gutters and stuff. And the wood, even though it does burn, it doesn't totally burn. Now this is white stuff from what they put the fire out with, but generally you see that all of these houses, every one of them is black. Now this car was right next to a fire, and it still has glass. Its wheels are still intact. This thing actually burned, but it didn't melt the tires. It didn't melt the glass of the vehicle. You see all the rubble? This is just rubble because these places implode. After the structure falls apart, it collapses. But you still see they're all singed. They're all black. And even in the forest fires, the trees themselves are still black. And you can see, you have bricks on the bottom, and not all the aluminum siding or vinyl siding melts. Look at these. The structure, the outward frame of the houses still stands. But that's not what we see in these crazy forest fires. The entire things just disappear. Should be visible to the people with eyes to see. Here's this neighborhood before. And I want you to look, you guys, there's absolutely nothing left. You don't see any part of any of the structures anywhere. This isn't possible. There's something else going on here.
governments have been playing with this thing.
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're digging into the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now.
Laser at a power of 1 watt. And if you don't want to use your energy to strike your match, you can just hold it in the beam of light.
A 1 watt laser can light a match. Imagine then the power of a 500 trillion watt laser. That's exactly what they've built here at the National Ignition Facility in California, where engineers have just finished constructing the laser to end all lasers.
And now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right, lasers now.
This was from the military news. It's about aircraft laser-borne weaponry, a Boeing YAL-1. And look for the blue flashes, folks. That's what we saw in the skies. Those are the lasers being used, that they're pulsing the electromagnetic fields of plasmic energy that they excite with the winds in order to direct the direct field. See the blue? These are caused by these laser beams. And we'll get into the whole thing about lasers and when they're created here in a little bit. But look at the blue, folks. That's what many comments, and I saw it as well. We saw blue sparks or flashes in the sky. And that's what they were, is these little blue beams of laser energy. Right there. See it? That's what we saw. So this is proof pretty positive that this was a laser-directed energy weapons used on the Northern Cal fires here. This is in the coffee district here, which we're talking about, that got attacked. Notice they're completely obliterated. All right, so this is Santa Rosa in the area. This is pictures similar to the ones I took the other day in the coffee district area. Again, you can see the ridge fires coming up. Take a look at this, folks. See the stone block wall? It's all gone, folks. The heat had to be enough to melt the wall. Columns were melted. Wrought iron steel melted. No glass. 2,600 degrees to melt glass. No glass. How about metal tires? We saw the rims, and there's no rubber at all on any of the tires. The rubbers were completely gone. Well, here it says in sciencing, if you put a rubber tire in a furnace, even a hot one, it won't melt. The tires are vulcanized, which means they're through a process that combines the rubber molecules with carbon and other elements to prevent them from oxidizing or burning. It's why hot rodders can burn rubber without setting anything on fire. And the fires are said to merge. They're bringing people down, firemen from Idaho, Washington, Oregon. They're planning it to merge and continue on. This is a picture from down the road. There's a Hilton Hotel, or what was the Hilton Hotel, and the Fountain Grove Inn right below it, which was. But look at the steel. Look at the steel melted and twisted, folks. That means the temperatures was above 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. It wasn't a firestorm because it happened right away.
This was a USA something wildfire. So this is a new trend we're seeing, where the entire building just disappears. There's absolutely nothing left, and that's what we're seeing again here. And this is becoming a growing trend, guys. There's no explanation for it. I want to show you a couple of things here that should really be visible to the people with eyes to see. Here's this neighborhood before. And I want you to look, you guys. There's absolutely nothing left. You don't see any part of any of the structures anywhere. This isn't possible. There's something else going on here. Something else going on here. The entire building. Everything's gone but the trees. One washing machine. But where are the granite countertops? Where are the glass doors? Where's any of the metal framing? Where's the bricks? Where's any of the stuff that held these houses together? And why isn't there any rubble? But the tree is still standing, and the grasses are still here. But the cars that were left have no glass. They're all smashed to pieces. Look at this, the garbage cans. Come on, guys, all the garbage cans are here. But but look at the cars. Look at the condition of these vehicles. Look at this. This is all smashed and bent. And look at the twigs on the ground. These things should have caught on fire. How come there's pine needles and stuff all in the path? Why isn't there anything standing whatsoever but the trees? This is supposed to be a forest fire. How come the forest didn't catch on fire? Not even the tree branches. Look at, there's just twigs and stuff everywhere. Why did the twigs not burn? But every single solitary piece of 2x4 that built these houses is standing. I mean, isn't standing, it's gone. It's all disappeared. There's no aluminum siding, there's no bricks, there's nothing.
Right here, beside the road, everything's done.
The breaking news, the state of emergency in California, where 12 wildfires are burning right now. One in particular, the so-called Valley Fire, is fierce, fast-moving, and fatal. And tonight, we've got the stunning images and the survivors, both human and animal. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman.
The fire swept down the valley with apocalyptic fury. Flames as high as skyscrapers hopscotching the canopies, raining flaming terror. Families fleeing, navigating this hellish landscape. Cinders swirling in the air. 23,000 people displaced in Northern California. We spent time today with a crew of firefighters from Riverside County, California. Exhaustion remains one of the greatest perils.
You guys pretty tired? We're getting there. Yeah, all of our resources have been going at it for about a month and a half.
Like others out here, selective about what they could save.
Firefighters are letting this burn. They're not concerned with this kind of grass fire. Their main concern right now, because they're so overwhelmed, is protecting homes and people.
The Valley Fire, 100 miles north of San Francisco, threatening Napa County, fueled by dry conditions and 30-mile-per-hour winds, exploding from a small fire over the weekend to a 60,000-square-acre monster. One of the fastest spreading and most destructive fires in California this year. Up to 1,000 homes and structures destroyed, one person killed, So many unprepared for its speed, trying desperately to outrun it. This man driving through the worst of it. These time-lapse videos capture the panicked exodus. Watch as this driver struggles to find his way out. Fire everywhere he turns. You can hear the fire's jet engine roar. Others cornered by those ferocious flames and smoke.
Scariest thing I've ever been through in my life. We've lost all of our homes and some pets. We're just devastated.
As the flames overtook an entire town, overwhelmed firefighters did what they could.
These guys are very limited on resources. Every engine has got multiple structures to try and protect, and you just can't save everything.
Retired firefighter Todd Sudmeyer live streaming the desperate fight to save Middletown, California.
They're putting water on this particular house because it's at a corner, and they don't want to lose this corner.
Officials estimate nearly 40% of Middletown now scorched earth. This is what one house looked like before the blaze. And this is all that's left of it today. Over the weekend, 4 firefighters were burned, now recovering. One of them, Richard Rafe, giving the thumbs up from his hospital bed.
We are really in a battle with nature, that nature is more powerful than we are.
About 11,000 firefighters are battling the fires, putting in grueling shifts,
Slow and safe.
Many lasting more than 24 hours, some over 36 hours. Crews so fatigued they've been flopping down in driveways or fields for just a few minutes of rest.
Look, block after block is just devastation.
Don Lopez is one of California's fatigued firefighters. He retired last year, but decided to volunteer. Since then, it's been a parade of one fire after another.
And then from the Rag Fire, I went to the Rocky Fire, to the Jerusalem Fire, to the Peterson Fire, to the Little Grade Fire. And I was 34 days straight on all those.
Lopez has been a firefighter for more than 3 decades, appearing in this heroic Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph.
This is all my yard right here.
But never before has a wildfire hit so close to home. While fighting that quick-moving valley fire, he learned that flames on the other side of the blaze were shifting towards his own hometown of Middletown.
I didn't know if I had a house to come to. I heard it was hitting Middletown pretty hard. You know, you started hearing all kinds of rumors, but, you know, you don't really know what to believe. So I just kept working and hoping for the best. I mean, there's nothing I can do at that point.
He called his wife Heidi, with whom we caught up later.
When I talked to my husband, I've never heard him raise his voice. And he was knocking on doors to tell people to get out. And he told one person, "You've got 3 minutes or the sheriff's coming for you."
Heidi evacuated just minutes before the fire hit town. Fortunately, those flames stopped right here on Lopez's property.
If the fire had moved 10 feet closer to the house,
yes,
this wouldn't be standing.
I really don't know how it's still here. I really don't know. Everything is gone.
Lopez's house was spared. His daughter's wasn't.
Everything's gone. Our house is gone. We only moved in there in November. All we have is gone. We don't know what to do. It's just devastating.
Still, tonight, her father is going back to the fire.
So you're going back on the fire line?
I'm going back on the fire line up on the Cobb area. Because that's what I do. I'm a fireman. That's all I know how to do. It's help whoever else is out there that I can help.
Tonight, thousands of people like Lopez on the fire lines, but behind him, scientists trying to better understand the fires. My colleague Clayton Sandell recently visited this federal fire sciences laboratory in Missoula, Montana, where wildfires are studied.
Look into the flame zone.
There is like a little trough.
There's a little trough.
Yeah.
That's the air pushing those little parcels forward.
Scientists here warn that stopping destructive fires is getting tougher. More people are building homes in wildfire-prone areas, and more flames are being put out before they naturally burn off dry trees and brush, fuel for megafires. In this experiment, we see how dry sediment pushes the flames forward.
They're like waves in water, and they are pushing forward, and they exit the flame zone up ahead, and they splash into the fuels at the top, and that's what lights the new particles on fire.
That's how your wildfires get big.
That's how they get big, and that's how they spread.
Today, as the fires continue to burn, hundreds of evacuees from that fast-moving valley fire find temporary shelter in tents, while others take refuge in this shopping center parking lot. And tonight, Don Lopez's family not fighting fires, but fighting to keep its spirit up.
I think we've eaten maybe one meal in the past 2 days. It's like...
Still, you keep a smile on your face.
You have to. Because you go to the campground and there are people that have lost.
A dangerous wildfire is exploding in California. It's closing in on homes, forcing more than 1,000 people to evacuate. ABC's Jim Avila is on this evening. Corona. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, George. A heroic effort overnight as firefighters struggle with intense flames and working to save hundreds of homes.
Mandatory evacuations underway for more than 1,300 people.
Flames were across every hill all the way around us, swirling embers. It was crazy.
The fire dangerously close to this highway, several lanes shutting down, as people spent the night desperately trying to evacuate.
I started packing my car.
It's called the Canyon Wildfire, and it's quickly burning from 1/4 of an acre to at least 1,700 acres. 2 super scoopers dropping water, another plane seen here dropping fire retardant, and 6 helicopters attacking the fire. But early this morning,
they said the helicopters are not coming anymore because it's a visibility issue.
Wildfires lighting up the skies in Southern California.
It was a tornado of embers going through here.
I've never seen anything like this.
This video taken from a home showing the raging inferno up close.
Just came up quickly like a firestorm. Came up over the ridge there, probably 50-foot flames.
Firefighters scrambling to get the hydrants as the fire quickly spreads. 300 homes in jeopardy. Whipping wildfire winds, making for an incredibly dangerous situation.
As you can see behind me, firefighters are still on guard here, hoping that the fire will remain put down and that there are no more hot spots. They're guarding against that through the night and morning.